He's the host, and he's very mwah.
He has an unparalleled creativity that I am just always inspired by.
He's kind of like Daddy Fool. He's the one that you could just tell as an audience member that the show wouldn't really go on if it weren't for Mike.
Performing with Mike is intimidating because he is constantly 3 steps ahead in the story.
Mike is a storytelling machine. You are guaranteed a beginning, middle, and end of a story.
The ability to form a structure around the formless. So if we are in a mess of a scene that's not going anywhere, Mike can make it go somewhere. He's like Hannibal of the A-Team, except he's Hannibal of the Fools Play team.
The Blue Fool is the narrative glue that keeps us all together, and not just in scenes. The Blue Fool has a really wonderful ability to come up with a whole world for a scene, or at least he comes across that way. Maybe it's all coming out of his ass.
If I got lost, I can go back to the Blue Fool, and Mike would steer me right, kind of like a lighthouse. Mike's a lighthouse.
Performing with Chris is like performing with a nitrous oxide mask on.
The Purple Fool, God, he makes funny look so easy. He's great at making it look like it's just the thing that came to his mind that moment. He's just sharing it with us. Even if that is a gopher dipping his fur in urine to make tea.
He's the guy that I never know really what to expect.
Christopher's great because if you needed a character of any kind to save a scene, Christopher could pull it out of a hat instantly.
He's
I don't know what this combination of words would be, but elastic imagination is the first thing that came into mind. I really don't know what he's going to do next. Because he'll take something, he'll stretch it out, and he's very physical about it too, especially with his eyes and his face, and he can tell a story by just looking at you.
Has the ability to do crazy things with his hands.
Mostly Chris would wave his hands around a lot.
Some of my favorite memories were usually skits where someone would just completely lose it on stage. And I think the most noticeable person would always be Chris because of his extremely distinctive laugh. He starts losing it, his laugh is infectious, and would cause everyone else to have a hard time holding composure.
He is completely electric. He chose his color perfectly.
Joff the Yellow Fool is always very high energy and extremely charismatic. You always want to watch what he's doing.
Joff comes in with an enormous amount of comedic energy. It's sort of like this hugely destructive force, and when the smoke clears, you see a beautiful sandcastle built out of the rubble.
He can do things with his muscles and body that just look so funny and unnatural, but hilarious.
His tight abdominal muscles and formed pectoralis. No, yeah, it was good. He always brought music to the scene.
Boy, oh boy, is he a talented guy. He can play almost any instrument he picks up, which is amazing.
Joff was able to adapt his musical style and tastes so that it would make every fool look good.
So when I think about Joff, I see in my brain, and I see Joff, and he is running, and he is doing martial art moves, and he is energetic, and he is jumping, and he is singing, and somehow he's playing guitar all while he's doing that.
Ed, the Red Fool. Ed is very smart and intelligent, and he brings class and sophistication and knowledge to his improvised art.
He's got a level of intellectuality to him. He's incredibly well read. He has a great knowledge of history and music and pop culture and all sorts of just wide-ranging stuff that he can bring into a scene really at the drop of a hat.
Ed was very interesting because he was really smart and very confident. And Ed's characters could be scary.
Ed Gibbs was so intense. I felt like he was going to, explode at any moment. In any character that he inhabited, he was always at the ready with a forceful spit take.
No one can do intensity like Ed can do intensity, and to have a funny intensity is a really rare thing.
He somehow manages to get intensity and comedy in one big thing.
He kind of marched to his own beat.
Michael Tanner the Green Fool had this crazy ability to insult the audience and have them love him for it.
The Green Fool! Fuck you! He presents himself in such a way that if he says something really offensive, you don't get offended. If he says something very confrontational, you're not afraid and you're not worried. He gets you on his side even when you're the target of his being confrontational or offensive.
Get off the stage, dude!
Michael Tanner can be completely appropriately inappropriate. That's his superpower. It's okay for him to be completely inappropriate. It's expected and hoped. He's just so joyful. He gets everyone on his side because he's on your side.
Oh man, he's funny. He's like down to earth, friendly kind of.
He's just got such an innocence about his humor, and it's so easy to relate to, and it's very accessible, I think, to a lot of people.
Performing with the Orange Fool is just plain fun.
Orange Fool, very musical, very charismatic, just really likable up on stage.
Nathan, you feel like you're watching someone you can really relate to on stage. When Nathan's performing, you just kind of latch onto him almost as an everyman, even though he does not play everyman characters. Nathan, probably more than any other Fool, looks like he's playing on stage, which is a huge thing that we value dearly at Fools Play.
Nathan is Bubbles, and he's Joy, and he is Heart. Sometimes when you see him on stage, you just want to grab him and smush his face.
He did some really good musical numbers.
Nathan Orange is a musical genius. He can do tone poems that are funny. What?
Taoiseach, I think, does innocence and childlike characters better than anybody. It's just a lot of fun to see her go into this kind of world where she can just be a kid and be funny and point out all the things that as adults you kind of forget about.
She brought just these really cool punctuations of humor that no one else would even think of, that she would put in, and that would be like one of the funniest things of the night, or if not the funniest things of the night, that would just come out every once in a while, and it was really cool.
She refuses to play the roles that you always associate with typical women in improv. Taoiseach plays all kinds of different parts, and almost none of them are stereotypical woman parts in an improv show. She has a fantastic original voice that she brings to Fools Play.
She's infectiously funny. I don't even think she realizes how funny she is.
Jake the Pink Fool is a pro wrestler, and you can feel it. The guy is a mountain, and he moves on the stage like a mountain. And when he's playing a little girl, it's a mountain of a little girl.
I think wrestling and acting to Jake means possibly more than it does to anyone else in the troupe. Wrestling and acting.
Jake's the teddy bear that can also be a little bit scary. His presence is just so big, and it's not just because he's such a tall guy.
Jake was so focused, and he was really good at what he did. He really wanted to be in character more, I think, than any of the other Fools. He wanted to embody the character that he was trying to be.
He's an actual actor, but he doesn't come across like a capital A actor when doing improv. His acting chops just enhance his ability to do improv instead of take away from it.
I saw Essa run off the stage into an orchestra pit and jump out of the orchestra. He had fallen on his head, and he continued to do the show.
When it comes to crazy comedy, I think that Fools Play has a cornerstone on it, but I think that there is like this nub on the side of that cornerstone, and that's Essa, because his brain works differently than anyone.
Essa's a wild card, and he will surprise you at any time.
Whether he's doing Tom Waits or he's doing some high screechy thing, you get an avenue to comedy that none of us certainly ever would have come up with. You feel like this guy is being honest with you about his own neurotic craziness, and it's great to watch.
The Maroon Fool is like a crazy sink. So if you're being off the wall funny and crazy, Maroon Fool could go in there and be the opposite of that, and not only make you funnier, but make him funnier than you by pointing out the fact that you are nuts.
All right, well, give me the $29.99. Here you go. No, buy me again! Ah!
He makes everything better just by looking at you with incredulity, and then you feel bad about yourself, but to everyone's benefit.
Fools Play's getting old. Mike and Chris are very old.
He started feeling more comfortable with his witty, sarcastic sense of humor, just like pushing that out there.
God damn it, Scott! What? I thought you'd be happy! No, I hate the Muppets!
And coming up with incredibly clever punchlines. I think that's what he's really good at.
If there's enough clamor for it, maybe I'll get off my ass and do a show. But probably not. I mean, I'm really not that interested.
It's weird to think that there was a time when Jamie wasn't a part of the show. He was kind of made to do an improv comedy show every week. It almost seems like it's in his blood.
He has an enthusiasm for improv comedy that I don't understand. It's so intense.
Jamie's passion for everything he does is incredible.
There is this sincerity to his acting and to his characters that just spills over from his offstage personality that really makes his characters quite enjoyable because they seem just a little more human.
The Ginger Fool has a very strong background in theater and dance.
He has a lot of good stage presence and lots of good physicality, and he's also a pretty good singer.
Jamie is like when you're in a scene with a tornado, but you can tell where the tornado is going, so it's okay.
I really like her. She's got a lot of spunk.
Hillary is all about playing sexy women characters, and she has like 100 different ways of doing it, and she's got no problem with that. It just works.
Mike, I told you not to call me. See? I answer my phone.
The Navy Fool is fascinating in that she can be quiet sometimes, but when she says something funny, it's always crazy funny.
A lot of the things that feature Hillary in Fools Play come directly out of my friendship with Hillary, and it's a joy to bring those on stage.
Does that mean we can keep doing Fools Play? Fuck yeah!